if you go to a pet store, you can find those registered papers. And for example, at Golden Triangle Mall, they have a pet store called Pets You Love, and they always have different puppies for sale. They're around $500 normally, and that's without the fees included, such as the crate and all the utilities they're going to need, their shots, things like that that you need to factor in because it's another expense. Whenever you go to a shelter, you're probably not going to get those papers that you may want, and a lot of people don't need them. They just want a puppy to add to their family, and a high maintenance dog might not be what they're looking for. So Denton has a pound called the Denton Animal Shelter, and they're open from Tuesday to Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Monday from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. They're closed on Sundays. But any other day you can go in there, look and see if you have a puppy that you might like, see if there's a puppy that might have just got brought in, and you can really pick it up anytime that you want. It's a $120 adoption fee, and they cover the shots and cover a lot of the things that you're going to have to buy separately if you go through a breeder or through a pet store. Another thing is that the pound is going to have puppies ranging from newborns to older puppies to really anything, because it's unwanted puppies that have been dropped off, strays they found off the street. I mean, it just ranges from a variety of things. Another place that you can look for if you're going to a pet store or if you just want to adopt is PetSmart has a lot of adoption options, and they can refer you to breeders. They can get you to breeders through people that they've worked with before, and on the first Sunday of every month, they're going to have an adoption set up outside of the store with breeders that are out there, and they might be giving away dogs for free that they just want to find a good home for them. So that's another option in Denton where you can maybe go look. So in talking about what kind of dog you want, you're always also going to want to consider the age. So you're going to have a baby pup versus an older pup. And some of the things that are advantages of getting a puppy when it's newborn is that you're going to get that respect. It's going to be loyal to you. It's going to grow up knowing that you're its mom, you're the alpha, not them, and that they're going to listen to you, and you can train them to be how you want them to do. One disadvantage is that their bladders are still developing, so you're going to have to be prepared for accidents in the house, which isn't a big deal if you train them the right way. For me, I got Bentley when he was 6 weeks old, so his bladder wasn't quite developed. And we had a lot of accidents in the beginning where he wouldn't make it to the door on time, or he wasn't really quite sure where to go because he was in new surroundings. But I highly recommend getting a crate, which is on the supply list that I'm going to show you at the end. And crate training really does reduce the potty training time about half of the time. They're going to know that they're not going to pee in their surrounding area. So they're not going to pee in that crate. And you take them out of the crate, you take them straight outside, they're going to learn where to go to the bathroom in the yard. So that's a disadvantage, but you can also train them well, and they're going to know where to go to the bathroom. A thing to consider with older puppies are they're going to be a lot calmer, which might be helpful around a couple that doesn't really want to take time to settle it down, train it, or around young children maybe that you don't want the puppy jumping all over them. And they're probably going to be a little bit more socialized depending on where they've come from. But one of the disadvantages of getting an older puppy is they may have been neglected if you found them off the street or in the pound, and they might not have always been treated the right way by humans. So they might be a little bit skittish around you. They might be reluctant to follow your lead since they have had to learn how to fend for themselves. So I'm going to go through the initial supply list, which is going to be a gate, and you're going to want to get a gate to guard off those rooms that you don't want puppies chewing on your furniture. You don't want them having accidents on your floor. Areas where you really don't feel comfortable having your puppy, areas where you can't watch him and do what you're doing at the same time. But keep in mind, puppies are going to need to be watched very carefully for the first couple of weeks, even the first couple of months, because they're going to get into anything a baby would get in. They learn through what's going through their mouth, whatever they can get their paws on. So gates are a really good investment. Like I said before, crates are going to cut down the potty training time about half of the time. They're going to learn that they don't go pee in the area where they sleep, where they're going to have to be spending time when you're away. And so they're really not going to go to the bathroom in the house until you take them straight outside after they get out of the crate. A leash is obviously very important because you're not going to want your puppy to just run away if you take them outside. It might not be a necessity when you're in your backyard, but training him on the leash so that way when you do go on walks and you do go out in public, you can do that training in your backyard. A tag collar is also very important. It doesn't have to be a lot. It just has to say their name, maybe your address, so your phone number, so that way if your puppy ever gets lost, someone's going to know where to return him to and not just send him straight to the pound. They have a new thing. You can get it at PetSmart. I know it's one of the places for $100. They were going to put a microchip in your puppy's shoulder, and it's going to be like a shot. They're not really going to feel it, and they will always be able to be tracked on the satellite, and you'll always know where your puppy is. And I think it's a great investment because that way if your puppy ever gets lost, it's always going to be able to come back to you. You're always going to be able to find it, and it won't be left stray or left to go to the pound. Towels and blankets are going to be a really important investment. Even if it's old towels, you don't even have to go buy new towels. You're not going to want your puppy soiling new stuff, new sheets that you're trying to buy for him to go in his crate, to lay on your bed, to wash him off in after you give him a bath. I mean, they're just used for endless possibilities. Putting him in the crate so that way he doesn't have any accidents, because you will maybe have a couple of accidents in the beginning. If he doesn't have accidents on his blankets or more expensive things you might buy him, you can use them to dry him off after he comes outside. If it's wet, wipe off the mud that he might get into, dirt that he's digging into. There's just so many things that you can use towels for. You can also get him blankets if you want so that he knows those are his blankets and not to chew on yours, that he's not going to be in people blankets. It just depends on your preference, and you're just going to have to go on what you want. Plenty of toys. I find that toys are a great training tool as well as a reward, because whenever your puppy are chewing on your furniture and chewing on your shoes, because it's going to happen if you leave that stuff laying on the floor, you can tell them no, take that away, and you give him a toy. And that way it's not just negative reinforcement. You're giving him some positive reinforcement that this is what you chew on, not this, but you can chew on that. Or just having toys to keep him entertained so he's not always constantly wandering around. Obviously, he's going to want to wander around when you first bring him home and learn his surroundings, but eventually he's going to want his own stuff. This will keep him out of your shoes, your furniture, your pillows, and they're not going to get as torn up if you give him something to preoccupy him. A pooper scooper isn't necessarily a necessity, but I find it helpful because I don't want to get a new bag every time I go outside to scoop that up and throw it away. This way I can just use pooper scooper, which is a couple dollars at Walmart. Scoop everything up into my backyard, keep my backyard clean for him to run around in and not have to worry about what he's getting into, what smells that's putting off. It's just a lot nicer, I think, to have that, be able to scoop it up, throw it away. Carpet cleaner. Carpet cleaner is a great investment. You're going to need 1 or 2 bottles, but initially you can start off with 1, and the carpet cleaner does a couple of things. Obviously, it's going to have accidents in the house in the beginning. In case his stomach is upset, he might throw up on your carpet, throw up on your kitchen tile. This carpet cleaner and this spray is going to clean up all of that. It's going to sanitize the area, and it's going to take the odor out so puppies don't go back to that spot thinking that's where they're supposed to urinate, that's where they're supposed to go to the bathroom. It takes that completely out, and it disinfects the area so that way you don't feel like you're just living in a soiled environment. Paper towels, paper towels, paper towels. That's going to be a great thing to get because your puppy as I said, it's going to have accidents. You're going to have to clean up your own spills so that your puppy stays out of them, picking up things that you don't want to touch, drying them off if you don't have regular towels. It's just a great thing to have. It helps you clean up. There's just so many uses, and I suggest that you get multiple rolls of paper towels just to have and never to run out of. Another thing I'm going to suggest that I forgot to mention is the puppy food. Puppy food, you're going to want to research that before you bring your puppy home. For example, Bit Lane, I found him a food that is made for large breeds, but the puppy version. And, depending on if you get a toy breed, small dog, they're going to have different dog foods to help you maximize your dog's growth potential. And you don't want to stunt its growth by feeding him too much or too little, so it's great to talk to your vet about They can also suggest foods for you, but you're going to want to look for foods that the first ingredient is an actual meat.